Welcome back. I don't even know if I said that in the right time period, but welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Rundown with Lou. I'm going to just introduce my panelists because we have literally been talking for an hour before we started this, because we normally start at 9 and it's literally 9:50 and we've been talking for a full hour. But let's get into some topics. So again, introduce the panelists. First, I have up, because he literally popped up on my screen first, Mr. JVS Supercell 0320. The point I even remember that is amazing at this point.
I don't know how you did that. What's going on, bro? Thanks for having me, dude? Man.
And next up, as I watch it pop up the screen, the drunk black geek himself, my brother from another mother, would happen to be Irish or German. And what's going on, dude?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here tonight. Even though we talked already, I thought we were done. Y'all weren't even recording that shit. All
right. And last but not least, 1/3 of the world famous Three Black Geeks, and possibly my favorite geek out the Three Black Geeks, Aris. What's going on, dude?
What's going on, y'all? I just want to say real quick that this podcast is brought to you by the Parappa the Rapper Coasters. Kick punches all the line. Let's go.
Oh man!
Oh, I can't with y'all, bro.
As long as I get a piece of the marketing dollars, I'm cool with it. I'm gonna go with it. As long as I get a piece of it. I mean, hey, next time give it to me so I could put it right big on the screen next to my name, so we can sell this properly.
I mean, these things are legit. Like, you know, they're actually made out of PlayStation game, like jewel cases. But it's a coaster.
That's them needing to find different things to do. I have a bunch of CDs like that. I drink every day on my Miseducation of Lauryn Hill coaster.
You're wrong, Luke.
Hey, every time I lift it up, Lost Ones plays in my head. It's like the perfect thing to drink. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly get into the 5 biggest non-political, for obvious reasons, topics of the week. So first, we start off with this past week, it was announced that the latest small streaming service, Quibi, and I think I'm saying that name right,
Quibi,
launched in April and closed its doors in November. Grand opening, grand closing. Now, gentlemen, considering that this was a $2 billion startup, do you think Quibi's failure gives anyone pause of attempting to start their own streaming service? So I'm gonna start here with the first time guest, Aris.
I'm gonna say so far, as far as startups go, we are 2 for 2. First Vine, now this.
Wow, I forgot all about Vine.
So did a lot of people. The only thing that we probably don't like, that we don't forget about, is the few legit comedians that came out of Vine.
Just Hilarious, DC Young Fly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's about it.
No respect for Quibi. So, Ant, what are your thoughts on Quibi shutting down?
All right, I ain't gonna lie. My first thing was who? I thought that was a cryptocurrency or something. I ain't know what that was. So I had to look that up. And I mean, hey, I think without a really strong underdog, we already know who's the major superpowers in the streaming wars at this point, you know? And we've been saying it for a minute. So I'm just, fast forward 10 years, see who's on top, and we all eating Taco Bell.
Wow. Like Demolition Man.
That was a Demolition Man. Yeah, I don't know if y'all got that. But all right, go ahead.
Who would miss that reference? I'm going to close off this topic because you all are attempting to run through this way too fast with Sam. And I'm going to say this, Sam, before you answer this question. Because I know you may know more than Aris and Ant, that Quibi owned the rights to none of their shows. They outsourced everything, which meant that the $2 billion was almost strictly for tech and licensing. Do you think that played a part in them shutting down?
So I think that contributed to a lot of their woes. But the biggest problem that I can see with Quibi is the fact that you could only play Quibi through your phone. Unlike everything else, you could do it through Chromecast or Roku or Apple TV Box or even most smart TVs now. You got an app for everything. I mean, Peacock has got an app everywhere and it's free. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get the premium joint, but I mean, they got bangers, yes, but they didn't start off with bangers, but they were able to outsource as the app everywhere. And Quibi was like, oh yeah, we're gonna come. I think from if we weren't in a pandemic and people were traveling all over the world, we were, you know, going to Comic-Con, we were traveling across, you know, going to festivals. That would have been dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh wow, we got this new episode. We on the bus and we're going. It would have worked. But when the pandemic hit, ain't nobody going nowhere. Like, we're staying home more, watching all our TV on whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, I'm looking at more stuff on my laptop than I am anything else. And it's like, if Quibi had an app that was on the laptop or on, you know, any of those social media devices, like, it would have possibly survived. But the moment that it was just strictly on the phone, that's what screwed everybody. Because nobody, I mean, while I'm home, I don't even really want to be on my phone like that because I'm talking and doing remote calls all day long anyway. So it's like most of the time I want to kind of look at my TV or look at my my laptop. And I think that was the disservice that it's had versus something like Peacock or even like Tubi. And Air's put me on to Tubi and Pluto. Tubi and Pluto are free. You know what I'm saying? And like, I was like, yo, they got anime, they got old school 80s stuff. I was like, yo, this is amazing, you know? And the quality is good. Like, I could go and put it on my Apple TV box and look at it quality either on my phone or my TV. And I think that's where they messed up. Like, I think they thought it was a really good idea to do this, but then it backfired on them, you know? And I think Disney understands that too. But a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that.
So,
if I can interject, it's almost as if somebody was saying, "Hey, here's a contract. Why don't we go ahead and make this a full app across the board? We'll get to it later. We'll get to it later. We'll get to it later." And then it's right when they're like, "Hey, you know what? We're ready to do it." Shut down.
Now, I think Sam brought up a really good point.
Could you cast to your TV? Could you cast to your TV? Like,
that was the thing about Quibi. Quibi, and this is the biggest thing, and I'm gonna let you and Aris interject on the point that Sam made. Quibi technically was made for the commuter. It was made for someone as you are Ubering to work, as you're on the metro to work. You get quick 5 to 7 minute episodes of things because that was normally the average time of someone's commute. So, do you think you can almost fully blame the pandemic and a shutdown for Quibi's failure? Because they clearly had content. Even though they were licensing it and they didn't own the content, they had big names and pretty good content. For anyone who hasn't seen Free Rashawn, it's a great Quibi series / movie to check out. So do you think the pandemic played a huge part of it?
And the award for bad timing goes to
I mean, yeah.
Bad timing.
But who knew that China would release something that would cause Quibi to go bankrupt?
Well, it's easy. Everybody was
non-political. Non-political, motherfucker.
No, Lucas got a point. No, seriously, Lucas got a point. Think about it. At the time, everybody was chasing after Vine.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And this one worked. It worked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You spread it across everything, and it worked. I don't know what Quibi was doing besides putting together content that was only long enough for somebody to have a commute. But again, where was anybody going? We were stuck at home. We was on lockdown. Help me, Quibi. Help me.
So
Go ahead,
I like to perform social experiments with my friend groups. And like, so I'll send, so one thing I did like a year ago is I would send 10-minute videos out to people that were really good videos. And I would send like 30-second to 2-minute videos. And then I would, who in the age groups would watch what or complain about, oh, this is 8 minutes long. This is 5 minutes long, things like that. So I think they were onto something, but I have watched more shows that have been on my list these last 7 or 8 months than I've ever, you know what I mean? And we constantly talk about media, and I've gone back and watched like American Gods or shows from the '90s that I never watched and stuff like that. This isn't the format for it, so I think it's a good. I think Sam made a good point. The timing was off, and this is one of those things where just like the gods were not in your favor type of shit.
Wow. Well, all I'm going to say is for anyone that can check out Quibi's content before January 1, when everything goes dark, check it out. It's some really good movies on there, some pretty good entertainment. It's with every big name actor humanly possible because Quibi paid everybody to get a movie or a show from. It's some cool content to check out. Granted, you're not going to want to watch it on your phone. You can illegally download it like I did and watch it on your television if you don't want to watch it on your phone. But hey, in the end, check it out. But speaking of things with
all their
bad
content will be on
timing,
YouTube soon. They'll be all right.
Hey, the moment Google decides that they will pay $3 for Quibi, all of that content will be on YouTube. But speaking of bad timing or a sense of bad timing, this week, Mr. Phil Spector from Microsoft, and this is the topic that my guys didn't know about, and I just threw in here the last minute. He predicted that this holiday season, both Xboxes and the PS5 will all sell out with no problem. Now, gentlemen, I know we're in the middle of a pandemic. I know we have 8 million plus people without jobs, but do you think 3 gaming systems will be able to fully sell out during the holiday season? And I'm gonna start with you, Sam.
Okay, as far as right now, in terms of both consoles with the pre-orders and the hype train behind them, I think that the gaming folks that are heavy into gaming, that kind of prioritize stuff and they've already budgeted stuff, you know, they either one have already got their pre-order or are still trying to get it. There's a lot of my friends, at least half of my friends are still trying to get these consoles. They didn't even get the pre-orders. More people are inclined to try to get the PlayStation 5 that are heavy gamers, and then people that are consumers that love like stuff for their kids, they're trying to get the Xbox. And right now, I don't think that this is the thing. I think that they're going to sell out not because everybody's going to have the capacity to try to get them. I think that a good amount of the population don't have the funds to try to sit there and do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally right now, like I have other priorities, even though I'm a gamer. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that I need that $500 or $600 for that I can't in my right mind put towards a gaming console. Do I want it? Yes, but I'm probably not going to get it until next year. And that's if I get it, because right now, technically, even both consoles don't have a big selling point for me to justify getting it immediately. But the reason why I was going to say I think they will sell out, I don't think they mass produced enough units to suffice to do it. I think that technically PlayStation, they probably don't have enough actually created and made to justify getting it sold to everybody. One of the things they were worried about ahead of time was that when it came to release day, would they even have units to sell to people? Wow. Both companies have said they would, but there's no guarantees in this game at this point, because if I was Best Buy or if I was Target, as soon as I got something, I'm like, yo, we're putting this on pre-order ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that builds more hype train that everybody's going to want it. As soon as those pre-orders hit, more hype is starting to build and build and build. And I think day one, they're going to have a limited amount of units and they're going to sell out of them. But it's not because everybody wanted or had the capacity to get it. I just don't think they have enough units to actually create it. I think that Xbox probably has the capital to make the most amount of them, but I don't know during this pandemic if they were able to. I really don't. And so that's where I think that the sellout will happen, but it's not because everybody can afford to do it. It's not because, you know, everybody's like, yo, I got to get it. It's just not enough justification on terms of content to merit it. For the Xbox, the platform was going to be Halo. That's not coming out. You know, I wanted Cyberpunk. That's not coming out till December. So then you got the PlayStation side. Yeah, you got the Assassin's Creed game.
Spider-Man.
But that's multi-platform. Spider-Man.
With a new black
I can play that on my PlayStation 4. So
he's not as fresh on a PlayStation 4.
Man, look,
very true.
Look. Crispy is crispy. I can still go and pre-order it on my PlayStation 4, and I'm still getting that upgrade later.
That makes perfect sense.
So I'm just I don't want to hurt nobody in the chat, but that's just my perspective with it.
So, Eris, what are your thoughts on both gaming systems selling out this holiday season?
I'm sorry. I was pre-ordering an RTX 3070. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I can't with you, Eris, bro. Get out of here.
I'm just keeping it. Look, man, I am keeping it a full 720 Final Atomic Busters. Shout outs to Zangief from Street Fighter. I genuinely do not care about neither of these systems. I mean, they can come out.
Wow.
That's great. That's wonderful, beautiful. I'm pouring out a little liquor right now for Cyberpunk for delaying again. Hey, Ghost of Tsushima says, "What's up?" But no, seriously, I just don't care. I mean, when they first announced the consoles and showed off the trailers and these little mini documentaries and all that happy-go-lucky bullshit that they showed at E3, I'm like, that's great. Where's the games? Games come out. Okay, looks promising. Is any of it jumping out and saying you gotta buy it day one? Hell no. No, not at all.
You're supposed to be the calm black geek. That was
this is genuineness that's coming from me.
Hey, no, I felt it. I felt the hatred in your voice when you said that. That's why I said,
and that's the thing. There's no hatred whatsoever. I am just being as objective as possible, like, about this whole thing. Right now, it is a stupid time in tech. We got iPhones that dropped at. Who honestly asked for iPhone 12?
Well, iPhone 5.
Yeah. More like an iPhone 5 and a half. The iPhone 5 and a half. But no, seriously, who asked for a lot of this stuff? Like, we have known that this pandemic has been going on since February, and yet both Microsoft and Sony still like coming out of the gate and saying, yeah, we're going to release these consoles. For what? Microsoft, you made the announcement that there's going to be no exclusive, which already goes with the famous hashtag Xbox has no games. You have nothing at launch. Halo ain't coming out at launch, and a lot of your other games, cough cough, Spellbound, you just had to kill that one. That was a nice, real nice IP that you could have had with Platinum Games of all companies. Like, how do you mess that up? That's one bag that you dropped. And with Sony, yeah, I love the fact that we got Spider-Man, Miles Morales with the grown man fade. I do like
this fade is sharp. I must say myself.
I genuinely like that, but again, this is a standalone game. Feels more like what was that game?
Expansion pack. More of a DLC than the actual game.
No, I'm thinking of that other game. Oh God, what was it? Y'all remember when Infamous Second Son came out, and they had that downloadable standalone game where you play as
the girl.
You play as the girl who has like similar powers. Where you didn't even have to get the whole game. You could just download her game. Her game was $15. You got like a good 8 hours of gameplay out of it. But that's what I'm feeling with Spider-Man.
You're not getting anything for $15 for Spider-Man. You're gonna pay this $49.99 because Miles got a fresh fade. Miles has a fresh fade, and he's a 16-year-old who looks like he's 30. But
exactly,
what are your thoughts on this as someone with children who may want to own one of these gaming consoles this holiday season?
Nah. So this is my thing. Selling out is a concept, right? If I have a sandwich shop and only need 2 sandwiches a day and 3 people come in, I sold out. You know what I mean? And so I think Sam touched on that. Like if the supply isn't there, which I think they're already planning on, they're not trying to do the numbers before. It's kind of like the Star Wars action figures when Star Wars came out. They didn't make any action figures, so they gave people those cardboard cutout promises. Like, when we get more action figures, you'll get one. So you got a lot of people who can, prepay. They'll prepay. They might not get it or whatever. But the public right now, we're in a bad spot nationally. Like we're living at right now. It might not seem that bad, but across the country, people aren't in good spots. They're suffering.
And they don't have that expendable $500 to $600 to $800 of income to be buying new game systems.
Right.
Not
And
political.
the $70 games to go with it, right?
Exactly.
You just don't have it. When you can get on your phone and play, like, you can play Fortnite on your phone, you know, if you're your kids and stuff.
I'm about to say, you upgraded everything, but no one thought about upgrading to a new Fortnite to make kids actually want a new gaming system. Like,
right. So
that would have been that would have been exclusive needed. Buy Fortnite.
And
you're good.
And I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer for 20 years at this point. More 20 plus years. But you saw me on the chat. People was like, I'm gonna try and get in the pre-order. I was like, do I really need to get this?
Exactly.
Do I really need? And no, I'm not. You know, I'm not super secure, but I'm okay in my income. Like, I'm okay in you know, as long as people got problems, I got to check. You know, so
I'm not going to comment on your little flex right there, but it's fine. I understand.
No, what I'm saying is that in the chat, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna wait till like March or something. Like, I could go on a, you know, if I might need that. I don't know what the future's gonna bring. I'm not pressed to do it. And the other thing is, there was an article back when the first Xbox came out where Bill Gates was talking about they've been losing money on Xboxes since the first system, pretty much.
Yeah, they don't care.
That was Xbox forever. Xbox was not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm about to say, it's a tax write-off for Microsoft. Xbox was made to push other products for Microsoft. It is not made. They could care less how many units it sells. It literally hooks everyone up in the world to the internet through Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Microsoft doesn't care about selling consoles.
That's their goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's their goal.
Have your kids addicted to doing everything. Yes. The house hub. It needs to be the center of entertainment for children. Yes. Now, speaking of people,
outdated soon because we're gonna get web games.
Just interrupted me there. Yeah, you just interrupted me there. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna be mad.
I had a whole point.
Hey. I had a 20-ounce tequila and ice. I'm fine. You can interrupt me a little bit. I'm not gonna mind too much. But you know, just know that other side of me comes out, and I may have to talk over you, like my favorite presidential candidate. But
that's okay.
Before talking about him, let's talk about someone else who seems to be in the rush to move forward with things. This week, it was announced that Mr. Michael B. Jordan, aka the Angry Black Boy, has decided that he will direct the upcoming Creed 3. Also, he's attached as the executive producer behind the first Static Shock film for DC. So, Ant, I'm gonna start with you here. Do you believe that Mr. Jordan is actually ready to handle this much work behind the scenes instead of being in front of the camera?
So it's hard for me to go against anybody that was in The Wire. I got that. That's some White South coming out. But no, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't really need a Creed 3. I don't think anybody needs a Creed 3.
Nobody needs a Creed 3.
No, Creed 1 was great. Creed 1, I enjoyed it. It was what it was. Creed 2 was like, oh, we're here again.
Yeah, we're Rocky 4.1. 4.1. That's what Creed 2 was.
We're done. As far as Static, if anybody has to do it, yeah, you know, whatever. Were
you extremely close to saying if anybody got to do it, I'm happy it's somebody black? Because that's what it said. Like, you were close to saying that.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm not gonna get the out there slang or the afro high top or anything like that. So I'm good.
Or the white cool friend that everybody in the 90s had. The white cool friend. Yeah.
Yo, and let me help you out there, and just say Ryan Coogler.
Hey,
yeah.
Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler better not touch Static Shock. He can stay in his little Black Panther universe, and they can get them another tall, medium-skinned brother to play Black Panther. But he better not touch Static Shock. I know that much. They better find somebody else to do Static Shock. So, Aris, what are your thoughts about Michael B. Jordan stepping behind the camera and not in front of it?
I mean, it's Michael B. Jordan.
Hey.
When I say that, I'm saying I just don't want, I don't want nothing to pop off during production, and he just goes into full Eric Killmonger.
Hey, I told Angry Black Boy, he's played Angry Black Boy in every movie he's been in.
Exactly. That's what I'm worried about is him going Angry Black Boy on set. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be directing. Can you chill out? Somebody get this guy Snickers or something, please.
Hey, all I know is, well, I'm gonna go with Sam right here. Creed 3, are we getting him fighting Clubber Lane's son? Or something of that variant?
Lucas, if they do that, sure, that's gonna be I will be. I was pretty much done with Rocky after Rocky Balboa. Yeah, Creed came out cool, and I only enjoyed the second one just to see Dolph Lundgren because Dolph Lundgren is always fun.
Yes.
And that was it. Did I need that second movie? No, not really. No. I needed that second movie like I needed 3 more Universal Soldiers. Don't need it.
Well, Sam, I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts about an unproven talent? Because that's what it really breaks down to with Michael B. Jordan. An unproven talent stepping behind to direct a movie that's part of a big franchise, and also as a producer on Static Shock after all of us remember Raising Dion on Netflix.
You wrong.
Like, we've seen you do this before, and it wasn't good. You ruined a short. How did you ruin a short? That makes no damn sense, Joe. Like, go ahead, Sam.
So I'm gonna try to be real careful with my wording here. I got 2 different points with it. On the Creed 3, I don't know what his capability as, actor going towards the directorial side. I really have no clue. But me personally, if you're going into the third and probably the final of this trilogy, the second one was serviceable. My biggest thing about the second one, I was like, just please don't let it be bad. And thankfully it wasn't. I think that it was serviceable.
Lower
it closed out everything and it finished everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any kind of preconceived notions about what even a third one would even be about. And so the first thing they need to do, they need to figure out somebody that's a writer. First off, like they need to have that thing actually written. I don't care who directing it, but they need to have like an actual script to justify and merit this movie, because otherwise it's going to end up being just a cash grab. And it's going to make it look bad as the whole entire trilogy as a whole. I personally would have said, if I was him, I would have did the slide move and said, well, I'm going to be working with Steven. Me and Steven are going to be co-directing the third one. This will close out the franchise and just end it that way. Say, me and Steven Cowper, we're going to be going back and finishing this out. We're going to try to see what we can do as far as the scripting, and I'm going to help him direct. And that's it. That's all he had to say. And when he did that, when he said, I'm going to be direct, like it's going to make him look like he's going to renege if he's going to need another director. And that doesn't help. That doesn't help people's motivation going into a new one when you ain't got a writer. It's your first time directing, and you disassociated yourself from the original director from the second one. So I don't think it's a good idea, personally. Hopefully he goes and cleans that up. The second part of this, when it comes to Static, I mean, I heard during the DC fandom, milestone, that they're going to be recouping and connecting with, of course, the DC universe, which is amazing. Yes. And I am glad that there's a Static Shock movie coming out. It's actually a little hard for me because Eris knows that we're technically working on a secret Static miniseries. So this is kind of hard to even talk about because I'm actually really close to the project that I'm working with. As far as him being a producer, I'm a little worried because of Raising Dion personally.
Hey,
like it's not like the stuff that Will Smith has produced. And that Lucas understands what I mean by that.
Yes. Will's an amazing producer.
So it's like I don't have any confidence.
Really, I don't know
that. I'll let Lucas break down what Will is
about
done.
Will Smith. Oh God, yes, we could talk about that. I mean,
but
Overbrook Entertainment is huge. But go ahead, Sam. Finish your thought.
Yeah, but in terms of this specifically with Static, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to that because I'm so close to the project I'm working on that I don't want to even process this going a negative route. And not just that, would this fall underneath the DC Warner Brothers Warner Media project?
Yes, it's going to be. It's going to be an official. It's an official DC Warner Brothers film. This is them expanding, going on to their smaller characters. I mean, Static is a character that most people have been waiting for a project to come from. I think the trepidation that most people have is that Michael is being the producer on the project. And it's just because of Raising Dion. Raising Dion had so much promise from the short that we saw from it versus the movie that we got from it. So you don't want to necessarily turn around and get the same thing with Static, which is an iconic character for Black kids growing up in the 90s. Like, he was the superhero that we all saw on television. So it kind of makes you a little worried that he was doing a project.
I would prefer and Batman.
Yes, I would prefer Will Smith with Overbrook take over this. That could have been great because he's produced enough movies where you kind of would trust he would put the right director and the right writers in place here. If we get Ryan Coogler directing Static Shock, I'm gonna be mad. I'm letting you all know now. I'm gonna be mad because I know Black people. I know I'm about to say something completely blasphemous. Ryan Coogler has never directed a good movie, ever directed a good movie. I don't want to see him touching Static Shock. It needs to be someone. We could go a Burry Jenkins, who is an amazing Black director. We could go a Stephen McQueen, who's an amazing Black director. Damn it, we could go Forrest Whitaker, who's a really good Black director. Just somebody besides Ryan Coogler.
Hey, look.
Yes, sir.
How about F. Gary Gray?
Hey, they can't afford him, but he would be perfect.
I know they can.
You can't afford F. Gary Gray. He's an amazing It's people out there. Matter of fact, the whole list we named should be directing Creed 3. It shouldn't be Michael B. Jordan. Like, understand, as actors, they believe they can control everything. And as witness, if you watch me and Sam's review about One Night in Miami, at times you can become way too connected with a project being an actor where you may lose the vision in directing actors. And that could be the issue. And that's the biggest downfall of when actors take over directing duties. But speaking of people taking over duties and possibly failing at them, it was announced this week, and Black Twitter lost their mind, that Shonda Rhimes left Walt Disney because they didn't want to give her a free ticket to Disneyland. But let's play some backstory here a little bit. She was in contract negotiations with Disney. She asked for a free ticket. Disney told her, we don't give free tickets to anybody. But they made an exception for her. When her family got to the park, the ticket didn't work. She contacted an exec who said, haven't we given you enough? And after that comment, Shonda Rhimes called her agent and told him, no matter what, you need to get me to Netflix and away from Disney. Now, gentlemen, I'm going to frame this question a little differently than asking you what are your thoughts about Disney doing that to Shonda Rhimes. She signed a $100 million contract in 2018 with Netflix and has not produced a single project since signing that $100 million contract with Netflix. Do you believe that Disney might have possibly dodged a bullet by rejecting her a ticket? So I'm going to start first with Ant. Go ahead, Ant.
Oh, I mean, Disney Parks in trouble now. They need all that money they can get. $4. Pay for some hot dogs and shit. I don't know. To me, I feel like this is a backdoor deal. If you're gonna reject your whole, you're making that kind of money, and the free ticket is your selling point, and it's not ego. I feel like you're already planning to make moves. Because I saw on something else that there's negotiations for like a $300 million deal for Netflix or something like that. Is that true?
It's been rumors that her deal. It's been rumors her deal is actually between 100 and 300 million, depending on her back end.
And I think this is a point where Disney is. I ain't gonna call them weak, but they're weaker than they were a couple of years ago, right? So maybe this is the time she thought she could have more power. Disney needed her more than she needed Disney. You know what I mean? It's the same thing we talked about how the Spider-Man, the Sony thing. Disney needed Spider-Man more than Sony needed Marvel, you know? So, I mean, that's what I look at it as.
I'm going to throw a quick wrench in your plan, and I'm going to throw a quick wrench in your plan, and I want you to answer it this way. Her biggest shows are still owned by Disney. She's not produced anything since her biggest shows. All of them are still owned by Disney. Do you think that they possibly read the writing on the walls and wondered if you could even come up with another big show?
Right. So if they can get rid of her to go over that. I'm saying for her, this might have been her best move. Well, her name is still good. Yes. Unlike the Game of Thrones guys, she's going to jump over to that. This seems like a good deal for her. It could be if she is done. If she is spent. Because like 2 of her shows are still on. Like. Still running, right? Or one of her shows is still running, right?
Yes. A couple of them are still running on Disney. Yeah, Disney still owns rights to.
Right.
Yes.
So it could be a mutually beneficial thing. If she's spent and doesn't have anything else left in the tank, then Disney dodged a bullet. If she's spent and has nothing left in the tank, and Netflix is willing to dish out some money they've been giving out to everybody else, good for her. If she comes out with another hit series for Netflix, for the better. So I think this is a great move for everybody, in my opinion.
Okay, Eris, what are your thoughts on Miss Rhimes leaving Disney over a Disneyland ticket?
Well, damn.
That's all you got to say.
So she asked for a free ticket.
Ticket
for her family. Right,
for her family, a free one.
Not just her family.
Her family, a free ticket. Damn. Keep in mind, the year she asked for a free ticket, they paid her like $60 million. But she asked for a free ticket. It is. Oh, hold up there. Before you ask, I just have to say, this is just the most privileged thing you could ever do. Like, I could not go to the company that I work with who pays me X amount of money and then say, you know what? I want this for free. And they're going to look at me and say the same thing. Like, look, we pay you enough money. Why do we have to give you something for free? But she felt privileged enough
for you.
So they should.
Free for your cousin. For your cousin.
Wait, how many? Hold on. Wait. How many people were how many family members was there?
Hey, from every report, it was one ticket, not multiple tickets now. One ticket. Just one ticket.
Okay. You know, her calling up her agent after hearing that line, and yeah, I get it. I get the privilege. I get the flex. I get all of that. This just reminds me of when Prince fired Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and they was like, all right, you fired us for producing SOS Band. Cool, whatever. We got this little girl named Jan Jack. We're gonna make Control and call it a day. Peace, nigga. But no, I damn. I mean, over a ticket.
Hey, look, in all honesty, I couldn't make this up. I said the same thing. When she decided to do this interview with the Hollywood Reporter and bring this story up, the first thing I said is, you left Disney over a ticket?
Over a ticket.
And then in the same article, she goes on to admit that she feels like she's raping Netflix because they paid her $100 million and she hasn't produced anything for them yet.
And you should feel like that. I mean, you ain't produced nothing. First of all, Netflix dipped into their freaking Cobra Kai money, all right? That money that they got from everybody watching Cobra Kai, because who the hell was watching that shit on YouTube Red, all right? Nobody, okay? That money that they got from everybody subscribing, and you don't count, all right?
I did too, Ant. I watched
both of you, both of you Negroes don't count, all right? Y'all don't count. All right? The fact is that show got greenlit for a third season because of Netflix. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're kind of wrong. It was greenlit on YouTube, but YouTube didn't want to do a fourth season, and because they didn't want to do a fourth season, the producers decided they wanted to shop it, and YouTube was like, "Sure."
But think about this, because of its popularity on Netflix, they were assured that y'all can.
Definitely.
How many more seasons you need? You need 3 more seasons? 4? Well, all right, cool, whatever. The show's blowing up.
But again, if you think about it from
the 4th season, they should stop.
If you think about it from Miss Rhimes' standpoint, keep in mind again, the story just came out to people last week. She signed this deal with Netflix in 2018. She literally signed her deal with. Here's the bigger issue. She signed her deal with Netflix before Ryan Murphy signed his deal with Netflix. He's produced 5 projects in between her signing her deal. Then she's produced 0 projects.
So you sign up with Netflix. Netflix gives you $100+ million deal.
Yes.
It's been over 2 years and you have produced 0 content.
Not a single show.
And no one is checking her for this.
Pimp game strong.
No. I just gotta ask. What charms she got over somebody at Netflix to give her $100+ million contract and not produce anything for going on over 2 years? I really do not know.
Well, let's ask Mr. Leckett there. Sam, what are your thoughts on Miss Rhimes leaving Disney for that reason? Was she justified in leaving for that reason? And when you look back on the deal, did Disney dodge a bullet by not paying her the amount that Netflix has paid her?
I think I agree with Ant in terms of her move. I feel like she already had in the back of her head she wanted to make a different move. I feel like she knew that she was trying to make some other content elsewhere. And she may have been looking for an opportunity of an out, but she wanted to flex at the same exact time. I am curious, because I don't know the specific details. Did this happen at an actual park, or did she have this conversation with, the management, before she was there with her family? I was curious about that.
According to her home statement, she asked for the ticket before her family got to the park. They gave her a ticket. When they got to the park, the ticket didn't work. So she called a major executive with the studio because the ticket didn't work. The major executive said, "Don't we give you enough already than us having to give you a free ticket?"
So I'm gonna say this.
This was a misunderstanding then.
So I'm gonna say this because I don't know how to put this. I'm afraid the right way. That is a dumb. Even if that is how they really feel, and they have their full right to say it, that was a bad judgment call to kind of do like that. If she's already got the ticket, if she's already got it, and it's just not working, then they should have just override it and then have her a conversation with her outside of that. Like, look, I understand this happened, but please, this is something we're giving you, gifting you this, and had it a different way. It could have been handled by Disney side a lot different.
Let me throw you a little different train of thought here. Your ticket doesn't work to get into the park. You don't call somebody at the park. You called an executive that works at Disney who possibly has absolutely nothing to do with tickets at the park and wouldn't even know that you received a free ticket to go to the park. What do you think their reaction would be that you're calling me, possibly a TV exec, about a free ticket at the park?
In the middle of
it definitely sounds dumb. On both sides, it sounds really childish and dumb. Because the way that I would picture it, like if it was me, I got the ticket, got my family there, we're ready to go. You already asked ahead of time. The ticket ain't working. You ask somebody, say, can you please check our ticket again? It should be working. I've already got this and like, ma'am, it's just not working. I'm sorry. Can you guys go and just purchase another ticket? Like, no, I don't want to purchase another ticket. Like, I've already got this. It's already done. I'm going to call my person.
You know who I am?
Yeah. But anyway, aside from that, I think that it could have been handled a totally different way on both sides. In terms of her movements, she already knew she was going to be doing that. As far as what I've read, she's got like 3 different projects in pocket, but that's it. Since 2018,
supposedly she's working on 12 different projects for Netflix, but none of them will debut to the end of this year. One that, I'm going to say it because most people won't, does not look good. And it looks like some of the shows that she had canceled at ABC with Disney. And then she has another project which she's hoping is her big project with Netflix.
So I'm assuming you're talking about Bridgerton that doesn't look good. And you're talking about inventing Anna that she's thinking is gonna.
That's the big one. She thinks.
Yeah, because she's creating, writing, and producing that one.
Yes.
To be honest with you, on Netflix, it's a possibility she could get 2 out of those 12 that could hit hard. And at the end of the day, she could still sit back and just chill for the next 5 years. Like, honestly,
they paid her $100 million. But that's the biggest question. Then, if you look at Disney, do you believe? And I'm not a fan of Disney, as everyone knows. But if you look at Disney, do you think that they can look at themselves and say, "Hey, we own Grey's Anatomy, which you made. We own Scandal, which you made. We have rights to How to Get Away with Murder, which you are the main producer on. We don't care what you take to Netflix because nothing will generate what these shows generate for us. And if it took us to not give you a ticket for you to leave, so be it."
Yeah, it's actually honestly technically a win-win on both sides if you look at it from that standpoint. She's winning because she's got something she can build on, and she's already got like a cushion and a foundation. She don't got to work. She got to do really nothing right now. But then Disney is kind of like, yo, we got your stats, and we can still make money off of them. They just can't make more. They can't make more from the cow. The cow has already milked itself, and they're replicating.
But you make cheese and yogurt and ice cream.
Yeah.
Especially off of Grey's Anatomy, which around the time that she left, added another spinoff. So like they're still spinning off shows off of her hit project. Well, I'll just say this, and then we'll move on to our last topic. It is awesome that a Black woman pulled this deal off with Netflix. I don't care. In the end, she fleeced Netflix. That's great. You know how often they fleece Black creators? It is amazing that she got $100 million from her.
Hey, Lucas, from just from you saying that just made me think of something.
Uh-oh.
Somewhere miles and miles away, Monique is punching a pillow.
Hey, if you can fleece Netflix, by all means do it. I congratulate Shonda Rhimes on her $100 million deal, and I'm still going to say, you full of shit. You left over a ticket. Like, come on, you didn't leave over no ticket. You knew your plans before that ticket came into play. That ticket was just like that. Oh, no, you can. Oh, y'all not gonna give me a free ticket? It's one of those. It's like the ultimate flex where you already know what you're gonna do.
But Lucas, it does make me ask that. Like, if I ever had a chance to talk to her, I would ask her, "Are you Dr. Dre?" Because you just gave all that up. It's like giving up the masters to Death Row. Say, I'm gonna start my own label by you running the Netflix and ain't producing Detox.
Hey. She might as well drop the aftermath CD that Dre dropped.
No.
That's what she pulled off. She hit you with "Been There, Done That," and ain't dropped nothing else.
So at this point, dude, we just waiting for Compton at this point.
She's hoping Bridgerton is her Eminem, and she could branch off from there. That's what she's got to be hoping at this point. Now, speaking of hoping, as we get to our last topic, it was announced this week that James Bond's latest film, No Time to Die, was on the auction block. Supposedly, we had Netflix, Amazon, and Apple offering up to $600 million for the rights to air this film on their streaming service. It was also announced today and confirmed that Apple's actual offer for it was between 350 to 400 million, but the studio that made the film wanted over $800 million for them to give this up to a streamer. So, gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Through all the big movies that have been delayed because of this pandemic, what MGM is asking for even the possibility of thinking about selling James Bond finally put to rest why none of those big movies will ever come out until theaters open back up. And I'm going to start with you first, Eris, as you're laughing. And I'm pretty sure you're laughing because the numbers that they were throwing at this James Bond movie.
So they throw those numbers at James Bond. Mm-hmm. Apple massively undercut them numbers. Yeah. And like with that kind of offer. And let's go ahead and call it what it is. That was I want to say that was Apple's first and final offer. Because I think that's what Apple believes.
Actually, no. Apple, that was their first offer.
That was their first offer?
That was their very first offer. And MGM told them, under no circumstances would we even entertain an offer under 800 million. Not that we would sell at 800 million, but if you wanted to even have us think about selling you James Bond, you would have to start at 800 million. Anything below to them was equivalent of you seeing a house for 300,000 and you go in there and say, hey, I give you 140 for it. That's how they sold. They offered 400 million for James Bond.
So again, so in that case, then Lucas, that makes me look at Apple and say, Apple, you bought Beats from Dr. Dre for $3 billion. What is James Bond to you? You mean to tell me that Beats headphones are worth more than probably one of the greatest movie franchises of all time?
Oh, let me rephrase that, Eris, because you may be a little bit confused with what I'm saying.
Okay.
They're not buying the James Bond franchise.
Oh, they're just buying that one.
They're buying the right to stream that one movie. That's it. And then they don't own the movie. They just get to show it.
So they only get to show it, and I'm guessing they're gonna have that for like X amount of time until that agreement.
4 months, maybe.
4 months. Oh, okay. Again, well, no. It goes back to what I said. You bought Beats headphones for $3 billion. What's 600 million? What is it?
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it. I'm not.
What is 600 million?
I'm not. I can
give
make
them money.
Hey, Ant. I'm just gonna go. Ant, what are your thoughts about them attempting to buy James Bond?
No, they shouldn't. In my opinion, and I get what you're saying, that this is nothing to Apple. Like, this is, I guess, like coins in the pond or whatever. But no, what did the numbers for the last James Bond do? Do you know?
The last two, was
it Spector?
1.1 billion and then 890 million.
Mm-hmm. So you're spending. And any movie that's gone direct to the streaming thing that should be in theaters, has that recouped any of their money back?
No.
No. But so what they should all say is, we're gonna give you 350, and if they say pass, the next person we're gonna give you 250, and they'll go back to the 350 because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's coming out regardless. It's not making Apple any more money than it's actually costing money. Nobody's going Apple for this James Bond movie. I don't think. I don't know
now
how
keep
the
in mind,
dollars go and everything like that.
I'm about to say, keep in mind, James Bond is almost guaranteed to make at minimum $700 million overseas at minimum.
Yeah.
So if you can pull that off overseas in a sense where people have to leave their homes to see the movie, just imagine if Apple, who definitely has the technology to watermark any movie where you can't even bootleg it, if they were to drop one of the biggest movies of any year is going to come out, what do you think they could generate if they say we're going to sell this $30 for 24-hour streaming period?
You got to think about, and you know what?
I
Think
don't
about
see it.
that.
I don't think anybody.
No. And think about this. Say movie theaters were open again, right? Let's say the pandemic, let's just go parallel universe right now. Pandemic never happened. Everything is it's 2019 all over again, right? Think about.
That was so many years ago, Eris. It's hard to remember.
I know it was. I know
Hard to
it was
remember
over,
2019.
it was over 20 years ago. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
But think about this. You go to a movie theater and you got a family, you paying at minimum $100. You account for tickets, you account for snacks, and if you're going in there for the IMAX experience, the 4DX experience, and all that shit, dude, that's like another $50 on top of that.
Definitely
if
going
I
to see James Bond in 4DX.
Right, but think about
here's the move.
But hey, look, as do I.
Exactly.
But given the situation that we're in right now, if I had the opportunity to watch the movie and only paid $30, and I clear my entire schedule for the whole day so I can watch this movie as many times as I want within the 24-hour time period, damn it, here's my $30. Let's go. But that's only if I'm that hard pressed to see the movie.
So look, what you saying about a family? This ain't Frozen. This ain't Frozen 3 though. This ain't Frozen 3. This is James Bond.
Hey, man, you probably got a shitload of cousins. I don't know.
I mean,
Sam, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead on this topic of what your thoughts are behind this.
So initially, when I read the article, I thought like Eris, I can't remember if it was Eris or Ant, but I thought, they were offering to buy, the franchise. I was like, snap, that's a win, snap, they can make like little mini series and all this and that. But I was like, wait, it's just one movie. And the reality is this. The highest grossing one was Skyfall, which is at like $1 billion. And then the next one was Spector, which is not a good movie, which is like 800 and some change. And MGM's, they're trying to make sure they guarantee they coop whoever they're selling it to, that they can get their money's worth for that. But so this is the weird, hard thing about it. I kind of agree with Eris a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know the practicality of doing that. Apple could do that, but they don't really need to, because at the end of the day, MGM could sell that to them for let's say they sell it to them for $900 million, right? Mm-hmm. And then when is it supposed to come out?
April 2021.
So in April, they release it out in theaters. People gonna see that joint all over again. They're gonna guarantee.
That was actually part of the deal. It would not get a theater run. If someone buys it, it will not get a theater run. Ever. Okay. It will never get a theater run if someone buys the rights to the movie. That will be part of the contract. It would not get a theater run at all.
Okay, so that changes everything then. All right.
Also, one other thing to throw in there. MGM does not own the rights to James Bond. They can't sell this film. What they have to do is get an offer and take it back to Ion, who owns James Bond, and say, we got this much money. Do you think you're willing to take the deal? MGM cannot sell this movie. This is not an MGM movie.
So Lucas, if that's the case,
that's why for anybody out there that's wondering why the price for this movie is so high, the reason the price for the movie is so high is not only because James Bond is at this point guaranteed box office. It's because you not only have to pay the people who actually own James Bond, you have to pay Comcast, who owns the international rights for James Bond, and knowing that Comcast can never even put it on their VOD platform. It was only the deal. It seemed from the rumors, the deal that Apple was setting up is that the film could only be bought through Apple for X amount of years. So if you get people who are James Bond fans, and James Bond is a franchise that's been around for 50 years, there's plenty of people that want to see this movie. Beyond the people that go to theaters to see James Bond, is people who stay at home to see James Bond. What would you do if you told all of those people you can only get this movie on one platform, and that's it? This is not a Mulan Disney thing. This is a thing where they were buying exclusive rights to this one movie.
Bruh, look, I'm gonna say this now.
Hold on, I think I can answer that. Before you answer, you can only watch it on one platform, right?
Uh-huh.
So my question to you is this: what phone do you have?
Oh, I don't have an Apple phone.
No, not you. No, not you. I'm talking about to the general public who would be asked this question. What
James Bond fans, they have Apple phones. All Apple owners are normally 50 and up. So all of them have iPhones.
They got iPhones.
They have iPhones.
Therefore, if you're telling me that like someone who has an Apple iPhone, you're saying I could watch this movie on my phone right now or any Apple device.
Any Apple devices.
In the comfort of my own home for X amount of years, and the fact that I got to sacrifice not ever seeing this movie in the theater, but seeing it in the comfort of my own home in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, James Bond. That's why I said James Bond is a tad bit different.
It's
than
different.
Any other big tentpole film that comes out, because James Bond has more. This is a franchise with one character that is currently valued at almost more money than Marvel.
Right.
Yeah. At this point, like you got to understand what you're buying, and I think that's why the price tag is so high on this movie. It's because of what you're buying.
See, and it does make me it also makes me think about how a lot of movie, well, not a lot, but some movie theaters were really going to try to go for that gusto of reopening for Tenet, and look what happened.
But Tenet was a bad movie, so we can't count that one.
Okay.
I mean, so my thing about this movie is that most people have anticipated this not only being a profitable movie, but this actually being one that people will want to go back to again and again.
Yes.
Supposedly Daniel Craig's last turn is going to be
his last turn, because he was paid $100 million for this movie.
What's the black chick that's gonna be working as a 00?
Loretta Lynn.
I mean, and that's another selling point. So I'm gonna say this: if I was Apple, I would do it, and then I would try to see if it's possible to get the other James Bond films, not own them, but have some kind of like brokerage where they could be able to, go through and watch all the rest of them, like not own them, but have like distribute, kind of what Warner Brothers does with most of the outsourced stuff. Like, all right, cool. You can be able to get this, but then if you want to go back and rewatch all the rest of these older ones, we have them accessible to you for this amount of time until next year or something like that. I mean, honestly, initially I was going to say that's just not I don't know about that. But if it's not going to release in the theaters, I would take that. I would take that win. I would take that loss.
I mean, for a company with $100 billion in cash that they don't spend on anything, because $1 is not really. It's as Ant said at the beginning, is Apple having so much money that they can almost throw money at anything and it not affect them.
Yeah, it's FU money. But the thing about this movie is that it would have probably hit $1 billion.
Yeah,
it could have.
So it's almost guaranteed at this point that this movie would do $1 billion.
So
Spector's a horrible movie, and it did almost $1 billion. Like this one was almost guaranteed for it.
I would say I would come back with the counter and say, look, I'll do 800 if I can get such and such, some kind of brokerage with something else. But I would just do it. I would go for it, because if Apple does it, you don't have to have an Apple, MacBook or even Apple TV. You can have a laptop and have iTunes up. So it's a Apple TV app. Mm-hmm. You can even pull that up on anything. So you can watch it. And most TVs now, they got the little whatchamacallit app up there. So
it would just be a big, in the end, it would be a big win for Apple. The same way Coming to America is turning into a big win for Amazon. Where like you bought a big project that most people would love to see. And it's going to put more eyes, especially with Apple, when you just launched a phone, as we talked in pre-show, that no one cares about. But so many people will still buy. This is the ultimate launching point. So, Ant, I'm going to let you finish off your thoughts on this and our show.
Oh, didn't I go already?
No, yes, you did, nigga. But
I'm sorry. All right, I think I make an interesting point. I'm coming from a poor man's perspective, I guess. I think Sam has a better idea of it. Like if they were to say, all right, we're getting this movie, but also we get the James Bond catalog for the next 2 years or something like that. That seems like a good deal to me. But just I don't necessarily. I like James Bond. I don't care about this movie coming up. I'm done with this era of James Bond. I want the next era. So if you give me that, I'm good. That's all I got. That's all I really got to say. Sorry.
Well, that's an awesome way to end this show for this week. Hey, for the first time, I'm going to actually say this, gentlemen. Tell people where they can watch your reviews, your everything. Ant, start first with you, Ant, since you're the last one to talk.
Oh, I don't know. I guess stars on most of these people's things to the up and down and the left of me. That's all I'm at.
What?
Nigga, that didn't
You gotta say where you at, bro.
Oh,
I don't think it's gonna be up here. It's not gonna be up this.
You will not Shonda Rhimes to end of this discussion.
Oh, God.
Where can they view you doing your reviews and stuff at, sir?
Right down here on the Rundown with Lou. I guest on 3 Black Geek stuff a lot. I guess I'm doing the anime things with JVS, and you can find me on YouTube on Drunk Geek.
I'm gonna need you to plug. I'm gonna need you to plug Earth 2, like you're not a founding member of Earth 2. Need you to plug Earth 2.
Earth 2 Comic Cast, which is the best. I thought I had to go without saying. I thought if y'all knew me, y'all knew where I came from. And Earth 2 Comic Cast, we talk about everything from comics to Star Trek, Star Wars, everything. I am terrible plugger. All right, so go.
Clearly. Eris, where can they find you at, sir?
Hey, look, first of all, you can just Google 3 Black Geeks. There's also 3blackgeeks.com. You can find me on Twitter at BLK Nerd Japan, all one word. We're also 3 Black Geeks on Twitter, 3 Black Geeks YouTube, 3 Black Geeks on Twitch. We we release our stuff through Lifeson.com. We're on Podomatic, Apple Music, Spotify, and we're everywhere.
That boy good.
I want to do it again. All right, I want to do it again.
Like, we are everywhere. So, hey, look, you can find me as that one rare Pokemon who be dropping in on other people's podcasts. This is a new one for Lucas. Please, if you will, have me back here again.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. I don't
one day, I'm going to get all the 3 Black Geeks on here one time and do this show, because that would be hilarious. Especially with my Magneto to me being Professor XD. That's going to be fun.
Lucas, be careful. I'm just going to tell you right now, be careful with that damn wish.
Sam, where can we find you at?
Oh man! After the perfect plug, I don't know if I can do this right. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at SuperSEL0320. YouTube channel is Team JVS, also TeamJVS.com. And Lucas, we got to have a anime corner on the Rundown. Just you got to bring Eris back. We got to do it. I'm just saying, like, it's what the people want. Let us know. Do you guys want us to talk about anime? I know you do.
I got you. I got you. That week, the Rundown will have a special host. Don't worry about it. We're gonna do that. We'll just have a special host that we go Rundown. It'll be the producer extraordinaire, Nadine.
Eyes open.
Yeah.
I was sensing a little hesitation from Lucas there.
No. We'll do an anime show. I just won't be the host that week. It's fine. You still say the Rundown with Lou, and it'll be somebody else hosting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another Rundown with Lou. Peace, people.